this room about a year ago, a little over a year ago, giving a talk about a business talk, and I asked the audience whom here had connections overseas. There was one woman who I had noticed who was at the back of the room who was by far the oldest, the most senior person in the audience. She was in her mid-70s, and she had put up her hand to say she had connections overseas, and she had got the microphone, and I asked her, what's your connections? And she said, well, sorry, actually, I don't have connections anymore. And she got somewhat embarrassed, but I then pushed her a little bit, and she said she used to have. But my family left here in 1820. They left Callan, County Kilkenny. I know of them, they're in Atlanta, but they went on in 1896 to found the Coca-Cola company. They subsequently sold it in 1923. But that lady in the audience probably had more connections than anybody else, if only she had the function, the ability to be able to use her connections.
We want to make sure that local authorities and Enterprise Ireland and the Minister's Department are integrated together and dedicated together to ensuring that we have fully fledged support at ground level for people that have ideas that want to bring them to fruition.
I think today's project is, just shows what, someone with ideas can achieve if the doors are open for them. And I think it's great that, not only did the government take it up, but IDA took it up, and an idea that was developed by Terry Clune, which is very simple in many ways, but he has shown that it can be done through his other work. And he has introduced the concept that was behind Taxback, which has been very successful, and said, well, why not try that in some bigger challenge, and that is of accessing smaller companies that are scattered throughout the world that look at Europe as the place to go.
Connect Ireland was selected to run the Succeed in Ireland initiative on behalf of the IDA, and the company, Terry Clune, who is based here in Kilkenny, is an individual of tremendous capacity, tremendous entrepreneurial spirit, and we're very fortunate to have somebody of his calibre and enthusiasm and determination here in our city. I think Terry and his team, led by Connect Ireland CEO Michael McLaughlin, who has direct experience of working with international companies investing in Ireland, will be bringing all of that experience to bear to make this initiative a success.
I know as a business person we employ 820 people in 22 countries. It's quite a successful business. I know if somebody came in to me and said that all of the big tax companies in the world, every one of the big guys, they're all based out in Finland. If somebody said that to me, I would say, why the hell are they all in Finland? Well, that's what Ireland offers. If you look in internet business, 4 of the 5 biggest internet companies in the world have their European operations in Ireland. They're Google, YouTube, Yahoo, and Facebook. In addition to PayPal, Adobe, Apple, all of the other big names, they are all here. If you look at the pharmaceutical industry, 9 of the 10 biggest drug companies in the whole world have their European operations in Ireland. 17 of the 25 biggest medical device companies have their European operations in Ireland. These are all facts. I was in New York at a business dinner, and I was sitting beside a guy who I knew he was from Texas because he was at the dinner, he was still wearing his cowboy hat, and he was very loud, as Texans tend to be, but it was an Irish-related dinner, and I asked him what his connections to Ireland were, and he was saying, oh no, I asked him about his business, and he said, no, we employ 8,500 people, we're a big Texan company, I founded it, we have big operations in Germany and big operations in the UK, and kind of very, whatever you call it, very ostentatious and stuff, but he was a nice guy. But then I asked him what he was doing at the thing, and he was saying 4 of his grandparents were from Ireland, and I simply asked him, do you have any business operations in Ireland? And he thought about it for a second, and he looked somewhat guilty for a second, and he said, oh, no, I don't actually, and we do in Germany and we do in England, but we don't have any in Ireland. And I simply asked him, why don't you? And he said, well, to be honest, nobody's ever asked me. Through this, we can have eyes and ears all across the world looking for opportunities, letting ConnectIreland.com know when they hear about a project that's expanding. And the real people who can get that done, who can actually implement it, aren't business people, will be some, but will also be people in every county in the country.
With the Connect Ireland initiative, there is a huge opportunity for a county itself to initiate and engage in the FDI promotion process with Connect Ireland. If an entire county and city can mobilise its own diaspora, or indeed anyone anywhere in the world, then significant economic development can occur to the advantage of that particular county or city.
So there's every reason why I think local authorities should look on this as a great opportunity to be part of their strategy for economic development of their area.
The Succeed in Ireland initiative would not be possible without the very valued and important support of the Industrial Development Authority, who are doing an outstanding job in helping to bring foreign direct investment to Ireland.
We don't need, with this Connect Ireland programme, we're not looking for the CEOs of companies. We're looking for Mary, who's working in a receptionist in a small gaming company in Sydney. That's what this is about. Simply using our connections. And it could be people that everybody here was in primary school with, or people that you were in a sports club with. We've got the support of the GAA, which will be rolling out in May. But the impact of GAA on a county level and a global level will be very influential in this. But everybody using their simple connections, their second cousins who you haven't talked to in years, all we're looking for is somebody to help us open the door so that our team can go in and do the sales pitch on why they should set up in Ireland. We'll do the work, we just need the contacts.
Today, we make our own history. Today is the day when the word is spread throughout Ireland and beyond that Ireland is open for business.